What's going on, good people? Welcome back to Four Titles, One Truth. It's your boy, Tommie.
That's Tommie.
Yep.
And I'm Lance. This one's all about the dreams we had when we first signed that contract.
The military gave us opportunity, but it also tested every goal we had. And let's be honest, some of those dreams changed real quick after our initial training.
All right, y'all. So let's talk about the ambition, the vision, and how far we've come today. Okay, what were your top 3 goals when you first joined the military? And where did they come from?
All right, so my number one initial goal was to serve in the Army 4 years.
Okay, get that.
And get out, get that college, get out, and then go to college. Didn't work out so much, right? I stayed in 26 years past that. But once I got in basic, I knew I wanted to be a drill sergeant.
Okay.
I knew it without a doubt. I felt like that was it.
It's goals.
Yeah. And then the first sergeant that we had there was a cool dude, brother, boy. He was cool. Can't remember the name, but that joker, I mean, he was, you could see the confidence in him, and the drill sergeants, they jumped like we jumped for them, they jumped for him. So that was another goal that I absolutely wanted to be a first sergeant. So if you combine those three, those would be my first 3.
Okay.
After that, it gets more about where I was at certain times and what I wanted to do.
Okay.
So what about you?
All right, pretty similar. On
Do
the
officers
same
have
deal.
goals?
We always have goals. Sometimes we don't. My goal was to give me a Land Cruiser. That's what I wanted when I came up.
Oh,
But
you know the new one's
I
coming
didn't
out.
have Land Cruiser money though.
You seen the new one coming out?
Yeah, them
Oh.
jokers are nice.
Now you got
Yeah,
some money.
nice. Yeah. I don't want to spend it now though. That's the problem.
You finally get some money. You
I
don't
got
wanna
me a
spend
truck,
it.
so I'm good. I'm good.
But you
yeah,
really wanted a Land Cruiser, huh?
I did, man.
Bad.
Not even knowing that you can't
but
afford
say,
no
come-
damn Land Cruiser. Yeah, I wanted a Land Cruiser though.
So when did that dream die?
Pretty much when I said I got commissioned and I looked and I was like, oh no, I can't. That's more than what I make. Yeah,
Let me look
no.
again. No,
Yeah.
no, that don't
Corolla, and that's what I had, a Corolla.
work. I mean, it's a Toyota,
Yeah.
I guess.
So, but yeah, I wanted to come in after I got commissioned and do my time so I could my years so that I wouldn't have to be on reserve, because I didn't want to be a reserve
Right.
soldier. Nothing wrong with being reserve, but I wanted if I was coming on, I wanted to be active duty. Serve, and then after that it was, be a head nurse, specialize, get a specialty, and just see how far I could go.
When did you think about lieutenant colonel and colonel?
Probably not till I was probably a good captain.
Oh, really? Okay.
Because at that time, because usually the way that a lot of us look at the thing is that if we are when we hit that 10-year mark, we're either getting in or out.
Same
So
way
then,
on the list is
yeah. So when you hit that 10, after you hit that 10-year mark,
Mm.
it was okay. We going.
What can we do?
Yeah, we going for the goal. We gonna see how much we can get, out of this. So probably around that time, we start looking and see, okay, what the jobs, what I'm, where I'm at, and a lot of that, a lot of things that I think I might have wanted to do, being a dual military couple, with my wife being a medical service corps, and some of the different things that they had to do to be competitive didn't gel up a lot of times with some of the
That you would.
some of the nicety things that I might have, places that I might have wanted to go that might have been a more, call it high profile job, so I had to learn how to wherever, we would have go to Fort Irwin. I'm about to work this so I can make my stuff, look good, be competitive, and do all of that stuff. But yeah, probably at that 10-year mark, which I was probably like a mid-level, our senior captain, actually. So start looking at, okay, major, lieutenant colonel, and then if I made colonel, that was just going to be
Cream.
icing on the, that was going
Yeah.
to be icing on the cake, because we were always taught, I don't know, good or bad, that if we made lieutenant colonel, then we had a success. That would be considered a successful career in the Army, not just on the medical side or anything like that. Because believe it or not, we're not the same. I mean, we're not the same as the surgeons. The surgeons get promoted a lot quicker and a lot sooner than everybody, nurses and a lot of the other professions and specialties, because they're trying to
Keep them.
keep those guys in, and in order to keep them, they have to bonus them up and give them some rank and all of those things like that, so that they will so that they'll stay in. So trying to look and see where where I needed to be in order to be successful, and which sacrifices that were gonna have to be made, on both sides. So
I'm shaking my head because I got beef with surgeons, and I also have beef with helicopter pilots, but much less than I have with surgeons. That's a whole nother story. So same with us. Once you make Sergeant First Class, that's when you're saying, you had a pretty good career. And then I never really thought about Sergeant Major until I made Master Sergeant. Okay. Because I always thought about First Sergeant.
Yeah, I mean, Lieutenant Colonel. I mean, when I made Lieutenant Colonel, and then I was having a good run, I was like,
maybe.
Yeah, and you see some of the, and everybody does it. It's okay. You see folks that get picked up, and you think about folks that did it, that had it before, and you're like, yeah, I think I could do that. I think I'm pretty good. And you start looking at your, pay attention to your ORB and your things like that, so that you can say, am I competitive? Am I not? Ask somebody. Say, do I have a competitive record? Right. Do I have a competitive record? So,
and the ORB is an officer's records brief.
Yeah.
And then the ERB is enlisted records brief, yeah. And that's basically. It basically details your career. It's something that stays at headquarters, and it tracks your career.
Yeah, your assignments, your education, your awards, your deployment,
your specialties,
all of that.
Everything, yeah.
Everything on there.
And I also say this, I wanted to be a drill sergeant as soon as possible. And, boy, that was funny. that path was funny. And I'll tell you in a second. But so did your goals shift over time? Yeah. And if so, yes. What changed them?
Yes. I mean, life and
life be life.
And marriage, and I mean, things that you can put down on paper the perfect scenario or schedule and all of that stuff, but you get a monkey wrench in something, and it's like, oh,
Murphy
okay.
is a mother sucker.
Need to do this. So yeah, I mean, it was just like, again, and being a dual military couple also changed things, because you don't know what you don't know.
True.
And I didn't. I mean, we weren't thinking that. We were just thinking we were both medical, so we should be able to go to the same places. Not thinking about the jobs.
Specific.
Yeah, the things that and that's part of just being young. Yeah. Being young and not knowing, and just and that was fine.
To the Army. You learn it. Yeah,
and that was fine. And it, again, like I said, like I was saying before, it's like we just adjusted. It was just, we need to do. If Audrey needed to do something to try to help me out a little bit, then she would make that sacrifice. And if I needed to go, we just made the sacrifice, and we just. Whatever it was, we just made the best out of that situation and tried to get the most out of that.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Was general ever on your goal list?
It wasn't. I mean, because and that was due to, I know that I didn't have some of the jobs that were necessary, and I knew that my profession, it wasn't I'm gonna say conducive, because being specialized in the area that I'm in, we don't get the opportunities, a lot of the opportunities that the general
It's
med
required.
surge nurses get, as far as being an assistant deputy, being a deputy, being some of those things that they can put, because they have, so it's a lot more of those nurses in inventory.
Understood.
And ours, they try to keep us
Right.
pretty focused in where we are, because it's not a lot of us. And that, so realistically, no.
Okay.
I mean, is it something that, again, if I would have had the opportunity, which I think that anybody that cares or gives a damn or is a good, effective leader can get to that point.
And striving every day.
Yeah, I mean, so, but it wasn't something that I was like, man, I wish I would have been a judge. I wanted to be a judge. So, I mean, but that's something that just early on, early on in my field grade years, I knew already that I just wasn't, I wasn't clicking those, checking those boxes that needed to be checked. So.
Okay. Yeah, and that's something I know I can speak on a little more on what he was saying, that there's a certain path you have to travel to get to the top of your ranks. And if you don't travel those paths, check those blocks, then there are levels that you can never reach.
Yeah, you're not going to be competitive on the boards for those.
Exactly.
Because it's just things that they want to see and want folks to have.
And you can't compare to somebody else's career if they've checked that block and you haven't.
Right.
Because it's basically a requirement.
Right.
Same thing like in my job, transportation. Being a first sergeant when I was in was huge, right? It was a huge requirement. And if you didn't have it, then that's one of them blocks that you didn't check. Also, early in my career, being a drill sergeant was a huge check that you had to have. And those were the things that set you up to make it to the top of the rank. So did my goals shift? 100%. Okay. Because like you said, you don't know what you don't know. You know, when you're a bright-eyed, fresh-faced soldier, you're dreaming of the world, but not realizing your world's a lot more narrow. Yeah. So, did it change with me going to college? It changed in my time it took me to get in and through college, right? Because it was way more spread out than I expected it to be. The thing about the drill sergeant is when I left the basic training, I knew exactly what I needed to be a drill sergeant. Okay. Because I had talked to the drill sergeants. And one requirement was I had to be an E5 promotable. Okay. And 2, I had to have a clean background. Okay. So I was like, I can do that, right? And so, as I've talked before, it took me almost 6 years to make E5. Yeah, because
you blew up after that, though.
It was the cutoff scores, and it was me not doing enough. Okay. I was more focused on being a great soldier and not focused enough on correspondence courses and college, enough college to get my points up. So that got put on hold, but then I made Sergeant E5 and got my promotable status. That was at 6 years. No, that was at 5 years, 6 years. Okay. Yeah, 5 years I made E5. Then I got my promotable status, and I was like, finally. So I had the first sergeant call DA, and DA was like, no, you got to be a staff sergeant. I was like, you son of a. So I'm like, okay, but guess what? I made the cutoff score like 4 months later for staff sergeant. And I'm like, oh, Lord. Called branch. And I had to do a year in service, right? Or a year in time and rank. Goodness gracious.
Great.
Yeah, so I made it. And then I called them back, and it was like, well, we don't really want young staff sergeants. We'd prefer them now to be at a platoon sergeant level. To have you been in platoon sergeant? I was like, yeah, I have. It's like, yeah, but you don't have enough time. I'm like, you son of. So I'm like, oh my goodness. And then I come back from Korea. I'm E6 promotable. Go back to the academy, and then I get selected for Sergeant First Class. I think a few weeks later, or months later, and then all of a sudden, hey, you want to be a drill sergeant? You dirty dog! So it went from my dream. It took me 11 or 12 years to be a drill sergeant. So that was pretty funny, the path that I took to get there. But my goals absolutely shifted. My drill sergeant got pushed 11 or 12 years. I can't remember right now. Then, 13 years. I'm sorry, 13 years. And then first sergeant got pushed because I slowly progressed. Like I said, I went from E1 to E2 on time. That's private to private 2. Then I went from private 2 to private 3, PF, private first class on time, which was a year in time. And then I went from PFC, private first class, to specialist in 24 months. I didn't make none of those early. Then I went from, it took 3.5 years to make E5 after that. And then from E5, it took a year to make E6. And from E6, it took 18 months to make E7. So I went from slow motion to finally blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And my career was crazy. And then I slowed down on E8. And then I slowed down on E9.
Okay.
Yeah, I spent my longest years as one rank was a combination of E8 and E9.
Okay.
So I wanted to be a command sergeant major.
Okay.
Right. But I didn't get selected to. So you go from E8, master sergeant, first sergeant, to sergeant major.
Okay.
And then you get selected to serve as a command sergeant major.
Okay.
I know that there was in my class, my sergeant major class, I knew that we had like 1, 2, 3, 4 senior, the most senior.
Now, when they were calling y'all senior, how many years did y'all have?
So I made it 24.
Okay.
Yeah, there were cats that were there at like 16.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's also, it's MOS driven. But anyway, and knowing that you're senior, you pay attention to the other seniors and see who gets selected. And that's what I was saying about my boy Ike. He was double badged. That's something I didn't have, meaning he was a recruiter and a drill sergeant.
Okay.
And he had first sergeant time, right? And, and I know that he was rubber to the road as a transporter. So that was my mark. I was like, okay, if he don't get selected, then I know I can't expect to get selected.
Okay.
Because he was a year ahead of me as far as time in service.
Okay.
And so, and then when selections came out, none of us got selected for CSM the first year.
Okay.
And then after that, everybody got selected. I think everybody but 3 or 4 got selected. And the thing we had in common was we had more senior time in service. So, but it's another thing. It has to do with what they're looking at the time that they're selecting command sergeant majors. And then you have to fit in that box. And if you don't fit in that box, the thing you have to be understanding of is I still made sergeant major,
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And like I said, once I made master sergeant is when I started thinking about sergeant major. Once I made sergeant major, I fully expected to be a CSM because I had so much first sergeant time and I've deployed multiple units. So I expected it, but it didn't happen.
I mean, you would think that was would be an important attribute to have some time and have that experience.
Yeah, but that's why I would say it was an important attribute, but it didn't fit in that box because it shifts. Like sometimes they want younger.
Okay.
Like the people before me, a few classes before me, the focus was more seniority because they wanted the wisdom. They wanted that, the knowledge that was gained over the years. And then it shifted back. And then sometimes it's about what level degree you have. You know, that could be the thing that knocks you out the box, or it could be, have you deployed? And when you deployed, what did you do when you deployed? So it's also based off of, broken down by MOS, military occupational specialty. So if you're 88, you can't expect the same numbers as 11 Bravo, which is infantry, because the numbers don't match. There's a lot more infantry than 88.
Okay. Yep.
And then also when you're 88, which is transportation, you're also on the world of logistics. So now you're competing against the 92s and all that stuff. So it's a thing that all you can do is check the block on what is in front of you, with the mentors that you have and the leadership you have. And then once you get there, you get closer, you say, well, what else I got to do?
Yeah, I mean, it's fate. Yeah, I understand. Yeah. It's fate after that. A lot of times. Once you check all the boxes and you just have to be like, I did what I could do.
Absolutely. So. And boxes, you don't check boxes at the same rate, you know, so, but it's one of those things where, just like with general, if you make it to that far, but you don't make it that final step, you know, it's one of those things where you have to look into yourself and see that, is it a failure, or is it just a situation?
It's not. I mean, because we got friends that feel like should have been picked up for general, but didn't get picked up, and it's like, what in the hell are they looking? You know, what do they want? What are they looking for? So it's like I said, it's a little bit of luck, moment thing. Yeah, a little bit of luck, a little bit of being in the right place, a little bit of having a right MOS, and a
little bit of recognition. There's a whole bunch of stuff.
I mean, it's some stuff in there, but it's not a. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that it was a failure in a.
Well, I do
in a career or.
Yeah, so I see it as a falling short, but I don't see it as a failure. Well, and the only reason I say that,
it's missed opportunity.
Absolutely, that's why I say it, because I felt I brought a lot, and I could have.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I said. I could have saw you. I mean, I see you. I see you as a CSM.
So they my goals shifted, and what changed my goals is just like you said, life, man, or things or moments. Yeah. You know, I didn't get promoted as fast as I thought I was going to initially. I didn't get the truly hard jobs that I wanted initially, you know.
That's hard.
Like, it took me a while to get a first sergeant seat, because I wasn't in transportation specific units. Like, I was in a signal brigade, right? And so the sergeant major was very seriously considering, but I didn't get because he had his own E8.
Yes,
you know? So. But the good news is that sent me to Campbell, the pride of the 18th Airborne Corps. You know what I mean? So, but you know, it worked out in its own way. And like I said, I'm proud of my career.
Good. So what was one dream you had that didn't come true?
Ooh, one dream I had that didn't come true. It was an evolving dream, but it would be CSM.
Okay. How'd that make you feel?
So specifically, having sat in the seat, but not as a CS, with the wreath on, you really feel like, oh man, I got this, you know. And so it felt like it was a letdown. It felt like in the beginning it was a failure. It made me start to question some of the decisions I've made as far as jobs, as far as it was when the first time I got looked over for CSM, I was cool because everybody did, and we were told it was a transportation thing, that they weren't going to pull any of the new ones. But then after that next year, you couldn't tell me I wasn't going to be selected. And then for it to come out and me not be on that really, it's the first time where I fell short of a military goal, and that was interesting. But I absolutely went down a little bit, but the good news is I ended up getting sent to Korea, and I was assigned to 2ID after academy. And when I got there, there was no G4 Sergeant Major. And so the Sergeant Major, because I went there as a transportation Sergeant Major, right, in the transportation office for the division. And so the Sergeant Major there, he interviewed the Sergeant Majors there and then selected me to be the G4 Sergeant Major, which is something that was rare for somebody straight out of the academy. And then we had a new Sergeant Major come in, and he had every opportunity to replace me. And he was like, "What?" He was like, "Go on." And he actually deterred someone from coming who technically outranked me and kept me in that position. So the knowledge I gained, the friendships I gained, and the experiences I gained in South Korea at 2ID, and having an opportunity to serve in 2ID because I did when I was a specialist, to go back to it, to go to the headquarters, that was pretty unique.
Yeah, that's cool.
So that was advantageous, and then it led me to the school sergeant's major at the transportation, at the home of the transportation now, Fort Lee. Yeah, my eyes rolled. But those jobs happened that if I was a CSM, I wouldn't have got the opportunity.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty cool, man, being able to.
I was able to, we were talking about it at one of the episodes, we talked about resiliency.
Yep.
I was able to take
Bounce
a knee,
back.
take a knee and realize
Yep.
I'm still serving the country. I'm
Yep.
still doing what I'm doing. I'm still representing.
Yep.
And it also helped me being selected and recognized by the senior leader there that this is the guy for this position.
Okay.
And my second term my second year as the G4 Sergeant Major, well, in the first and second term, I had 4 Sergeant Majors working under me, you know what I'm saying? So, and to feel that confidence, that built my confidence and that put me back in a position where I'm like, okay, even if I didn't get selected, I still feel worthy to wear the star,
All right.
That's an honest moment. I don't think I've ever told anybody that.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Let's just keep it between me and you.
All right, I will. Nobody will know.
So bottom line is now I feel I'm okay with my career.
Okay.
I did feel that there was a step that I didn't get to, but I'm okay with my career.
Yeah, I mean, and for me, you? I was it's probably and this is my last. I mean, this is probably the only job that I interviewed for. Had to interview for. Going to be like a chief nurse, and it was a big place, the biggest place or whatever. And I had a good interview. Knew the folks on the thing. I mean, they knew I'd been a colonel for about 5 years. Yeah. So that was that's can end my career doing that. That would be great.
Made sense.
Going to the hospital and got a phone call from them, and they said, "Well, I mean, you would be great for the job, but we really need you to come and do this." I was like, it's especially when it's something that you've done already.
Right. The job you went back to.
I went back to something that I've done already. It's like I don't.
That was your last job here?
And it was just one of those where it was like, you know what? Okay. Yeah. I mean, because I knew that this was going to be where I finished anyway. I knew this is where I was going to finish. This is where I wanted to come back to, or wanted to retire. So I was like, okay, and I knew the folks that were already in the office, and they were already calling and excited that, I was coming back. And I mean, so I knew that the team was there.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, okay, let's go and try to turn this around. Cause I love the people that were there, want them to do well, want to, do what we can for the, for the community and the city and stuff. So I was like, okay, but I was disappointed because I felt like, I can't catch a break.
Sense.
Yeah, can't catch a break.
Yeah.
I've done everything that supposed to do, needed to do, and but I was good. I was good with it. So
okay, so resiliency.
Yes,
Yeah, because
yes.
I'm telling you, resiliency ain't just bouncing back when someone passes away or you have a bad day. It's literally being able to maintain the focus and the fire when you're when you're disappointed in our cases, but you still have to serve. You still got time to serve. So
and you want to do your best.
Absolutely. Then that's the rebound. So what role did mentorship or leadership play in helping you achieve your goals?
Just watching and listening and just folks giving you, good advice. It's like, hey, that's, where you going next or what you doing next? Hey, you might want to do this, or it's like, okay, I mean, we'll see what we can do, because a lot of certain things are just out of your hands as far as like when you get to your next assignment, if they have whatever, another person already in that position, you're not going to take them. You're not going to take them right out to put you right in. So, I mean, a lot of instances you have to kind of wait your turn or wait it out for a second or see if it's see what other opportunities are there to get the equivalent job, because same thing you was talking about, the hard jobs and sometimes you got to try to finagle those so that you are, because you want to you want to make yourself as competitive as you can so that whenever your records and your stuff goes to the board that you can say, I done what I done what I could do, and just let them go from there. So, but I mean, it plays a role. I mean, I think it played a role as far as just giving that some good advice where needed, because again, you don't know everything, don't know where you should be headed. But again, and a lot of stuff was just and I went leadership, allowing me to be more creative with different jobs and job titles and responsibilities, giving me me talking to them and them giving me those things, so that I could
be competitive.
That can write up your stuff so that you look like, okay, yes, they are. He is capable of serving at this level or whatnot. So it makes a difference, because I could have had leaders that were like, nah,
didn't care.
Let's do this staff, and if you get staffed all the way down your thing, then you're
not making crime.
It's not going to happen for you.
Yeah, it's the same with me. It's less mentorship long term, but more on the spot leadership and on the spot mentorship. Because I'll say specifically, when I was at the academy, the sergeant major, the CSM that was there, she was a direct reason why I was able to go drill sergeant.
Okay.
Yeah, because it was asked, do you still want to be a drill sergeant, by branch? And then I went and talked to the sergeant major, and because my question was, I'm a sergeant first class now. Does it make sense for me to go and be a drill sergeant? And her guidance to me was, leave the office, walk around the installation, and come back and tell me how many sergeant majors you see without a drill sergeant badge. And I did. I walked around. I didn't overly do it, but I came back later that afternoon and I was like, 0. And she was like, there's your answer.
There it
is. And I was
is.
like, okay. And then she gave me some more.
Let's get somebody looking
some
out.
Mentorship. Yeah, she gave me some more mentorship about how to be successful on the trail, and then my path from there. That was one strong example. And then another example was when I made it to Fort Campbell. It was my first time. But going there, I was supposed to be a first sergeant. I was supposed to walk in as a first sergeant for a unit that just came back from, I think, Afghanistan.
Okay.
And so I was supposed to walk in, take over the rear detachment, which are the people that are left that didn't deploy.
Right.
And then when they came back, I was supposed to right seat and then take over. But they had some leadership issues downrange. And so the rear detachment sergeant major, who was a staff sergeant major at the time, he was the S1.
Okay.
And he was like, nah, we're not going to put you in that situation. He's like, because that's a mess.
Already.
Yeah. So I arrived at Fort Campbell thinking I'm about to get my diamond, which would be a first sergeant rank. And that was no longer available. And then all the other seats were full. So they ended up putting me up the senior truck master, which is something I didn't get to touch. I hadn't touched before.
Okay.
So he was looking out for me because he could have kept me on staff, right? But he put me in there and let me get my feet wet. And then they deployed. And instead of deploying me with them, he pulled me out and then put me in the S4, the SPO, in that sergeant major's seat until a first sergeant position opened up. So that guy, he did some on-the-spot shuffling with me. Absolutely. And I went up to him and I met him. And he started to like me when I shook his hand and I didn't take myself too seriously. And he was like, hey, welcome to Campbell. And then the only thing he kept talking about is air assault. So, because I wasn't air assault yet. And so that was, they weren't forever mentors, but those are two situations where leaders that were in those positions took a moment and mentored me through a situation.
I think your leaders can do that.
That,
I mean, because I feel like I did. I mean, I feel like I wasn't somebody's mentor from, but while they were there, I was given as much advice and everything.
Them.
I mean, try to help those folks out.
And that's what I tried. I really tried. The hardest thing about senior leadership for me in the operational Army is the fact that you really have to be cognizant of or aware of the skills of your subordinate leaders. And if you ever get in a situation where you find out that their skill set is not up to par, it's going to be a nightmare for everybody involved. And if you have the fire in you to fix that, they're not going to like you, because you have to hold their feet to the fire of what they think they're supposed to do, but you also have to hold their feet to the fire about what they don't know. And then that makes them angry. Like, for instance, another quick thing. So my first sergeant job at Campbell, like I said, I was at the SPO, and I came down and I would, they had just gotten back from Afghanistan.
Right.
And I said Iraq in one of the episodes, but they had just come back from Afghanistan, and then I ended up taking them back to Afghanistan. But I came back, and then I sat down with the platoon sergeants, which are my immediate subordinates, right, to me. And I asked them a basic question, right, about NCOERs. I was like, I just wanted to find out about where you are. And I asked them that question, and nobody at the table knew what I was talking about. And so what that led me to know immediately is they weren't set up for success. Right? Because they had no idea. And so an annual evaluation is called an NCOER for non-commissioned officers and an OER. So it's Officer O, enlisted
NC.
Review.
Yeah.
I'm messing that up. And it's NCO is non-commissioned officer. So officer ER, NCO ER. And that's an annual evaluation. Of course, it can be less than a year. In some cases, it can be more than a year, but it has to be specific circumstances, right?
Yep.
It's an evaluation report. Goodness, my mind's on OER. So it's non-commissioned officer evaluation report, NCOER, or OER, officer evaluation report. Yeah, I was thinking of ORB, ERB. But anyway, and if you aren't aware of what should be on that for you to be competitive, because we were talking about making yourself competitive for advancement in the military, then that means you have no idea where you stand. You weren't led to know where you stand. And also, you're not even sure, have no idea if you're competitive for advancement.
Yep.
And so,
yeah, leaders can hurt folks if they don't know how to properly write and word those evaluations.
Yeah, and it goes back to a previous episode. We were talking about counseling and leadership. The whole point of counseling, specifically in the military, is for you to define where we are and set goals for near-term future. That's the whole point of it. And then the evaluation is following the goals set and then grading you on, did you achieve, overachieve, or fail? That's the whole point of the evaluation and counseling.
Yeah.
And if you don't know that, then what are you excelling at? If you're, how can you be the best at anything if you never knew what you had to achieve or your goals or anyway? But anyway, after that rambling, the roles of mentorship and leadership were very present when it came to shaping some of the goals that I had, especially the ones that were refined and that I know I needed for my career. Yeah. So it ended up being a good thing that those people strategically placed, luckily, that's to be there.
Good looking out. That's real good. So, so if you could talk to your younger self on day one of basic, what would you say to them about goals, growth, and grit?
I would say what I have learned to do. There's a difference between long-term goals and near-term goals. Understand what that is and then set them.
Yep.
But also, the goals that you set, whether they're near-term or long-term, think them through and make sure that they're achievable and that they make sense to your situation.
Okay.
And then you have to make sure that you let people know what those goals are so that you can be shaped and pushed in the direction of the goals that you have.
Yeah.
All right. But it makes no sense to set these specifically long-term goals and you have no possibility of making them. Right. For instance,
you don't know if you'll be able to.
Like there are some jobs in the military where you cap out at a certain rank because that's the way it's set up.
Yeah.
And you can't come in like there used to be back in the day, women. There would be some women that come into the promotion board, and we're sitting on the promotion board, and we ask them, what are your goals? And they'll say, I want to be sergeant major in the Army. And at that time, it wasn't possible because you had to be infantry. And at that time, infantry didn't allow females in it. So that was not a realistic goal. And so I would always say that could be something you want to be, but that cannot be your goal. Your goal should be to be a command sergeant major or to be a sergeant major, so that if you get to that goal, then maybe you could be the one that could change something, But then that's just
be the trendsetter.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that's just one of the things that make sure that the goals you set, near or long term, are realistic and achievable. And then second, make sure that you inform people that you work for of your goals, and then finally make sure everything that you do, as well as your leadership, is pushing you towards those goals.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, if I could go back and talk to my younger self.
Say self.
Yeah. I like how things went. I mean, they ended up pretty well. I mean, but I would just tell them just to be a little more, because I wasn't a super understanding or flexible in the beginning.
Yeah. Most of us are.
And I really didn't speak up like I could have, or a question. I shouldn't say speak up. I really didn't question.
Salute and drive on.
Yeah.
Was your thing?
It was just like, okay, whatever, this is stupid, and, keep it moving, instead of really understanding why we were doing something, or something was being asked, or why we couldn't have certain things. So, I mean, I would probably be, younger self would be a little more vocal.
Trust you're confident.
Yes. In those aspects, because it wasn't anything wrong with that. Because it's just like, didn't want to get in trouble for something stupid, So it was always just trying to like, well, okay, whatever. I'm not trying to fight with this person.
That extend the meeting because you got to raise your hand.
Yeah. So but everything else, man. Because I always figured that everything happens for a reason, and trying just to get the.
Yeah, that's I don't believe in that.
Everything happens for a reason. I know.
Me and Nikki battle about that. Now me and you gonna battle about that. I don't believe that everything happens for a reason. I believe there's a reason for things happening. In other words, you can find out why things happen, but it does no good to say that and then you never find out why it happened. But that's a whole other conversation. That's a whole other conversation.
Yes, it is.
There's finally something that we 10 toes down or on different sides.
No,
so
it does. Yeah, because you can find out why something happens, and it's like, okay, I can't.
So anyway.
Yeah. Everything happens for a reason.
Let me wrap this up because he's going off on some madness. We were just kids, fresh-faced, with dreams, and newly issued duffel bags filled to the rim.
And now we're men with stories, brass and stripes.
Yeah.
And still have those duffel bags.
Facts. What do you say? We have the Foot Lockers and the duffel bags.
Yep.
I
tough boxes.
Absolutely have one of my original duffel bags.
Yep.
Yeah, I could tell you. So some goals came true, others didn't.
Yep.
But the bottom line is I evolved, and my focus evolved, and I ended up reaching a goal and an end state that led to an honorable career.
Yeah, to a successful career, yeah.
But either way, every step shaped the way we became us, or who we became.
Who we are, And to the young soldiers out there, dream big.
Oh, please.
Stay grounded,
please.
And keep pushing.
Please.
I can honestly tell you, your career is what you make it. Listen to me. Your career is what you make it.
Preach.
All right?
Preach. You can't expect someone to point you in the right direction and then everybody else to keep you in that direction.
Yeah.
You have to know what direction you want to go.
You have to make your goals known in order to get those opportunities. So,
can you say that one more time?
You have to let your goals known. Let somebody know what you want to do. And I'm telling you that I appreciated that whenever somebody told me that they wanted to do this or and I'd be like, okay, let me see how we can get you there, or I could tell them, you need to do this first before you do that. But it's not it's not out of the question, but it's some steps that you can't jump from 1 to 5. You need to do 2, 3, and 4, and that's doable, to get to 5. But let somebody know what you want to do, and then they can help you out.
And any job, not just the military, your career is what you make it.
Yep.
In other words, are you willing to put the energy in? Are you willing to ask the right questions? Are you willing to go to the different training that's needed? Are you willing to sacrifice family and friends,
time,
to
weekend
achieve,
time
yes,
to do some
to
stuff?
achieve that? If you are, then the world is yours.
Yeah.
If you're not, then readjust your goals so that so you're not out there flapping in the wind trying to be, we'll say in military, a 4-star general. It's okay being a captain.
Yep.
Or major.
That's
and
what you want to do.
getting out the military,
Yep.
retiring, and having a successful career and building on that. And now you're making $300,000 a year in the civilian world. That's okay. So make sure your goals are known and make sure you know what is required.
That's right.
To reach those goals. And to come off the testimony, thank you all for joining us for another episode of 4 Titles,
Yes, thank
One
you.
Truth. If you're liking our podcast, please rate us and leave a review.
Yep. Also, you can follow us on Instagram
What?
and on TikTok.
What?
And you can even watch us on the on our YouTube channel
Not the YouTube.
at 4 Titles, One Truth.
4 Titles, One Truth.
Hey, and y'all please share this episode with someone that could use the motivation. So, as always, what we say, see you next time, see you next episode, and let's keep the conversation going, y'all.
There it is.
All right.
Holla.